Hello everybody, and in this video I wanted to talk to you guys about my current favorite junglers. There's been a lot of little nerfs and tweaks, and the Season 5 jungle is, as we all know, not very forgiving. So I just wanted to tell you guys my favorite junglers, the positives of them, some of the negatives of them. So if you are looking to get into jungling, or maybe you are a jungler that has been disheartened by the new jungle, you can try out some of the champions that I have personally been enjoying. Now the gameplay that you're going to be watching in the background is me playing some Rek'Sai, which started out really awesome. I think I was like 6-1, and then I just started dying repeatedly, but we ended up winning, so it all ended up to be good in the end. Rek'Sai is a jungler that I've played an okay amount, but I definitely still need to play more to get to that super awesome comfort level. So we ran into like a billion snares over and over again. Their team was just really annoying, but hopefully you do enjoy that gameplay in the background while I go through my favorite junglers. So starting out with my favorite jungler, and that is Vi. Vi has been getting a lot of attention recently. People have recently just started playing her all the time. She's been getting banned, but honestly, I've always played Vi. I played her all through Season 4, and she is my highest win rate champion. She's the one that I played the most. I've always held around a 70% win with Vi, which is pretty freaking good. I just love her. I just absolutely love her, and right now is no exception. The only thing that sucks about everyone playing her now is that she's at the top priority of being banned. So usually I don't get to play Vi, but when I do, it's almost a for sure win. Unless my team is really bad, it's almost a for sure win. Now the positives of Vi is that she clears really well. She does not get her ass kicked in the new jungle. She doesn't have any issues clearing both buffs and then still being healthy enough to gank. Her ganking pre-6 is also really good because she has Vault Breaker with her Q. You can charge up the Q, knock up the person you're going to gank, and you can usually end up landing a kill. Also, I usually end up blowing flash on the first lane that I go to because I'll flash Q them, and it usually ends up in a kill, or at least we will burn their flash, plus they're gonna have to leave lane. So pre-6 ganks are awesome for Vi, and as we all know, after level 6, things get super real. Vi's ultimate is insane. You can just press a button and you automatically fly towards someone and knock them up, and usually they're gonna die. If they don't die, something is seriously wrong with your team, or maybe your initiation just was way too ham for your team to actually be able to follow you up on. But pre-6, after 6, Vi is awesome. She doesn't need a lot of damage items in order to do a decent amount of damage, and she can build tanky and just be a really annoying thing to deal with. Plus, not only is she a great initiator, but she can also peel back and help get people off her carries. So she's basically just a jack of all trades, but she does all of those trades awesomely. Honestly, I don't know any negatives of Vi. I don't know. I honestly can't think of any negatives because at all stages of the game, I find that I am powerful enough to fight pretty much everybody. I'm powerful enough to pull off ganks. I'm powerful enough to contribute to team fights. Even if I'm behind, I can do something just by building tanky and ulting someone. So Vi is my #1 jungler now and probably forever. Until they bring in a new jungler, maybe. Then we'll see. Next up on my list is Nidalee. I love her. I've always loved Nidalee, but I've never really played mid, I've never really played top, and then when they changed her to just be able to be awesome in the jungle, I was like, yippee! I was really happy. She's hot. I like hot chicks in video games. Anyway, moving on. Out of the two junglers, if you look at my match history, if you look at my stats, I've played Vi and I've played Nidalee. And then I've got like some random little junglers thrown in there, but I haven't really played much ranked this season, so it's pretty much all Vi and all Nidalee. Nidalee's clear is amazing. That's what she does the best. She's super awesome at controlling the crab, and controlling the river crab is very important. It's basically 2 free wards for your team, and so they can relax a little bit. Maybe they could place a ward somewhere else because you've given them that free vision. So she's really good at that. She's extremely good early game because her damage is ridiculous. You land a spear, go in on someone, and they're gonna either die, blow a flash, leave lane, or all of the above. She's also very good at harassing enemy junglers. Considering that most people tend to have a little bit of a difficult time early on in the jungle, they'll be sitting around with very low health trying to pick up all of their buffs. Nidalee can roam with her super fast ways, going through bushes, gaining increased movement speed, get to the enemy jungle, and all she has to do is land a spear and go in on them, and they'll either die or they'll have to back up and give up their buffs. So she's just a big bully in the early game. 2v2 skirmishes she can usually win just because all she needs to do is land a spear and she's gonna do an insane amount of damage to you. She can out damage pretty much everyone early game as long as you land a spear. If you don't land a spear, then maybe not, but as long as you're landing your spears, you're not gonna have an issue at all early game. Now, there are some negatives to Nidalee, and that is when it comes to team fighting. Your team has to understand that you are Nidalee. Yes, you can land a spear and go in, but you're gonna have to jump out again. You're not gonna be able to sit there and just swipe at people because you're really squishy and you're going to die. So when you're in a team fight, you have to keep landing spears, going in, jumping out, landing spears, or maybe you just stand and want to just poke people down by landing your spears. And your team has to understand that. If everyone goes full force into a team fight and you're standing around having to throw spears and go in and be really careful, you might actually end up losing that team fight because Nidalee does insane damage, but in team fighting, she can't just go in like that. She's more of a pokey champion and then going in when the opportunity is perfect. So when it comes to team fighting, your team really has to understand that you are Nidalee. Like, I'm Nidalee, guys. I'm not Vi. I can't just go in there and ult people and then sit there in the middle of chaos and not die. I have to poke people, okay? And if they don't understand that, then you have to kind of default to split pushing because Nidalee is very good at split pushing. She can push very quickly, and also most people cannot deal with her in a 1v1 situation, so they'll have to send multiple people to come and deal with your split push. So that's something that's negative with Nidalee. You can't just expect to go in there and team fight and be awesome. You have to kind of pull back, and your team has to understand that. Next up on my list, we have Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai is not the formidable, amazing, ridiculous champion that she was when she first came out, but she's still a very decent jungler. Her clear is really good. She can get through all of her clears without any issue. Her ganks are very solid because she has a knock up with her Q when you're going underneath. Actually, it's not her Q, it's her W. When you're underneath the ground and then you burrow, you knock them up. So she has the CC to pull off an effective gank. She also can close the gap very well with her E, her tunnels. So her ganks are very strong. Also with her ultimate, she's able to keep up with the enemy jungler in terms of farm, or actually surpass the enemy jungler because early game what you tend to use your ultimate for is just getting back to your jungle quickly, so that way you can rack up more kills, more CS than the enemy jungler. Then when it comes to late game and you set your network of tunnels, you can use your tunnels to cut off enemy champions when they're running away from a team fight that your team was engaged in. You can also use it to get to dragon quickly. You can use it to interrupt a dragon or try and steal a dragon or a baron. Her ultimate also makes her very good at split pushing because most junglers have to constantly worry about where they are on the map. Like, I can't show bottom because they're gonna go and do baron. Rek'Sai doesn't have to worry about that. You can go to the bottom lane and split push it up to the enemy's tower and then use your ultimate to get back to baron in case they want to start doing it. So you can really play with the enemy and mess with their minds if you use their ultimate correctly by being in one place and then being in another place a second after that. Now, the negatives of Rek'Sai is that naturally she's not very tanky, and her kit kind of goes towards an engage type champion because she can go in there with her tunnel and then knock everyone up by burrowing, but she's not naturally tanky, so you're gonna have to work towards those tank items until you get to that point where you can actually just go into the enemy team and not worry about instantly getting blown up. Next up, we have Fizz, which actually has a joint spot for third with Rek'Sai for me. I'm just starting to get really comfortable with Fizz, but he is really strong right now. His clear is awesome by you maxing W and building him AD. So he can clear really well, and his damage is insane. You just stand there and auto attack people to death. So you build attack speed, you just focus on building attack speed, and you max his W, and he does a ridiculous amount of damage. He is insane when it comes to little fights and little skirmishes, because he will just out damage everyone. The only negatives with him is that he is an assassin like Nidalee, and that he's not going to just go in a team fight and stand there and just auto attack people, because that's what the new Fizz does. The new Fizz just stands there and auto attacks people to death. So you want to wait for the opportunity to be perfect. So team fighting is not exactly his strongest point, but he is incredibly strong. If you have not tried Fizz jungle yet, try building him as AD, focusing on attack speed, and trust me, you will find it super awesome. Now on to my honorable mention junglers, which are junglers that I will pick if everything else is banned, which has happened a few times. First up, we have Evelynn. Now Evelynn is definitely not the strongest right now. She's really not the strongest, but I just mained Evelynn and Elise and Vi for a really long time, so she's just a big comfort pick for me. And if you're in Plat and below Plat, you will find that she still can be a bully early game. Also, we have Pantheon, because Pantheon's actually really strong, and he's really easy to play. He doesn't get his ass kicked in the jungle thanks to his blocking abilities. He has a stun, his ganks are good, and his ultimate is very useful. So if you find that the other junglers are banned, you can go ahead and pick these two. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it'll give you a better idea of what you can pick when it comes to jungling in League of Legends, and I will speak to you awesome guys later. Bye!